The 2024 sales tax holiday in Ohio began this morning, and people all over the area, they're feeling the excitement. Eli Burgett spoke to Montgomery County Commissioner's office. What makes this year's holiday so different and special?
Well, there are a number of things. For one, the cost of eligible items to the tax exemption recently increased to $500 per item for this year. And now more categories are included. On top of that, the holiday is now 7 days longer than it was last year, which allows more and more people to participate.
Isn't it great? You know, I just think we are so fortunate here to be able to have this, and I appreciate the fact that the governor expanded it from just like a day or two up to, I think it's 10 days now.
The Ohio sales tax holiday is now in effect for 2024, and there are many differences from last year. There is now a broader range of eligible items for the tax exemption, and each item can now be up to $500 at purchase. In addition, food items sold in restaurants are also eligible for the tax exemption. County officials hope that this will help more and more people participate in sales tax-free shopping. Coming up at 6:30 on Fox 45, a deeper look into which categories you can shop to take advantage of tax-free savings for this year. Back to you.
The man accused of killing a pregnant woman and a teen appearing in court for the first time. 32-year-old Nicole Cunningham Jr., who goes by Nico, was arrested in Cleveland last week. Cunningham is facing multiple charges, including murder and felonious assault. He is accused of killing Precious Taste, who Dayton police say is the mother of his children, and 16-year-old Deontay Johnson back in May. Bond has been set at $1 million. He's set to be arraigned next week.
Third person has now been arraigned after human legs were found in a garbage bag in Trotwood. 23-year-old Tygan Kiter has pleaded not guilty to tampering with evidence charges in connection to the case. Now, the legs have been identified as belonging to Edgar Kiter Sr., Tygan's grandfather, after the rest of the remains were found in a storage unit. Tygan's father, Edgar Kiter Jr., and his father's girlfriend, Amanda Rife, are also charged in that case. According to court documents, Tygan admitted to sending messages and making calls from Kiter Sr.'s phone after finding him dead in the home to make it seem like his grandfather was still alive. Now, Tygan Kiter's bond has been set for $150,000. He is due back in court August 20th.
A woman was arraigned today in connection to the death of her 5-year-old grandson. Stephanie Shanks is charged with involuntary manslaughter, endangering children, and possession of cocaine. She has pleaded not guilty. Police say 5-year-old Charles Brown died in her care from an overdose back in March. Bail has been set at $1 million. She's due back in court August 20th.
Homeland Security updating us tonight on last Friday's federal search warrants served all over the Dayton area. Remember, agents from the FBI, IRS, Homeland Security, they were all at Fuyao Glass America, 27 other locations in Dayton, Miamisburg, Moraine, West Carrollton, and Liberty Township. The department's Detroit branch saying on X, quote, "This investigation remains active and ongoing. We welcome the public's continued assistance in the case and remain committed to following the facts and presenting our case in a court of law." If you have any information to share, you're asked to call the number or email address that's on your screen now.
A live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam now. It looks beautiful out there. Let's send things out to Natalie on the Watson's Weather Patio.
Yeah, I like to call those Toy Story clouds, those perfect cumulus clouds out there today. It is quiet, but it's hot, and it's also humid, a lot quieter than yesterday. I'm going to talk a little more about that, but for right now, it is a hot one. We're hanging out in the mid-80s, 86 in Dayton, 85 in Troy right now, but we also have to factor in the humidity because it is feeling pretty sticky, and this is what it feels like factoring in that humidity. 91 in Dayton, 91 is what it feels like in Springfield, so definitely a hot summer day out there.
Process for Kamala Harris.
What do you think of her VP choices? Who do you think she should pick as VP?
We're talking.
The vice president is narrowing down her pool of potential running mates ahead of the DNC. Two Democratic lawmakers seen as strong contenders bowed out yesterday: North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper and Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. That leaves a handful of reportedly possible candidates on the list: Senator Mark Kelly, Governor Josh Shapiro, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Governor Tim Walz, or Governor Andy Beshear. Democrats expected Harris to announce her running mate this week.
The U.S. Senate passing bipartisan legislation aimed at protecting children online. Now, that legislative package is made up of two key bills. The Kids Online Safety Act requires platforms to provide safeguards for minors. That includes restricting access to minors' personal data and giving parents tools to supervise kids' usage. The Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act amends the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act of 1998. It strengthens the protections relating to the online collection, use, and disclosure of personal information of kids and teens. It's unclear if the House, though, will take up that legislation. The United Kingdom left shaken after 3 kids were stabbed to death in a mass attack yesterday. Lydia at the Now Desk, so what have we learned new about the tragedy?
Well, like you said, a third child has died as a result of that horrific scene that took place at a Taylor Swift-themed dance and yoga class in Southport on Monday. 5 other children and 2 adults remain in the hospital in critical condition. Those 2 adults were attempting to protect the children. Taylor Swift released a statement today saying in part, quote, "The horror of yesterday's attack in Southport is washing over me continuously, and I'm just completely in shock. I am at a complete loss for how to ever convey my sympathies to these families." Now, this is one of the worst assaults against children in the UK in decades.
A settlement has now been approved for the family of Casey Goodson Jr. We break down the details of that settlement next.
In a big day for the Bengals, a look inside Paycor Stadium as the team practices for the first time in pads.
Plus, I'm tracking some summer heat as well as, of course, those thunderstorms, too. That's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by
Tuesdays only at KFC.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
This is not from Hollywood. It is a very real and incredibly impressive shelf cloud that appeared ahead of a storm system in central Illinois this morning. The northern lights made a faint appearance in northern Michigan last night, and with a geomagnetic storm watch issued through Thursday, they could be visible in the Northeast, upper Midwest, and across to Oregon.
Listen to Off the Radar. New episodes every Tuesday. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Franklin County Commissioners unanimously approved a settlement now going to the family of Casey Goodson Jr. The settlement states the county and the sheriff's office are not admitting any liability for Goodson's death. Tom Bosco breaks it down.
The amount of the settlement is $7 million, which will result
$7 million to the family of Casey Goodson Jr. Goodson was shot to death by a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy working with the U.S. Marshals back in December of 2020. Jason Meade says he saw Goodson with a gun, shouted commands at him, and then shot and killed him. Evidence in a criminal trial against Meade and then in a federal lawsuit show the bullets that killed Goodson came from behind, and that while Goodson did have a gun on him, he had his hands full of sandwiches. Goodson's family and their attorney did not want to go on camera today, but attorney Sean Walton said in a statement, while no amount of money can ever compensate for the loss of Casey, this settlement is a crucial acknowledgement of the profound impact his death has had on his family and the broader community. The president of the police union called the shooting death a tragedy for both the Goodson and Meade families. No amount of money will give either family their whole lives back. It appears, however, it will line the pockets of the attorneys who profit off these tragedies.
And back at our area now, as Natalie talked about yesterday, this is going to be a week full of humidity and that.
Yeah, rain. Thunderstorms in the forecast. Today, pretty quiet, but thankfully we will have plenty of dry time. So if you want to hit the fair, do things outside, there will be dry time for that, but we will also be monitoring the chance for some storms. And the storms last night managed to bring some pretty high rainfall totals. This is radar estimated rainfall. We have seen some totals near this. You could see parts of Preble and into parts of, Butler County, 5.2 inches there near the Eaton area, 4.9 inches south of the Gratis area, and then near Dayton and Montgomery County, a lot of places getting around 2 inches of rainfall, but the further north you go, the less rainfall we received. Now, frontal system is pretty much stalled just south of our area, but as we head into these next several days, what we're going to see is this boundary focused around the area, keeping storms, notice them riding from Iowa, really along that boundary. That's going to be the trend heading into tomorrow as well. So a few showers, storms possible early tomorrow. It looks like that will be weakening, and then more storms popping up tomorrow afternoon. Can't rule out a strong to severe storm. And then by Thursday, we're also tracking the chance for some thunderstorms, especially by our Thursday evening, that have the potential to become strong to severe as well. So I'll talk more about that in the rest of the week coming up.
Montgomery County taking to Facebook to announce starting on Thursday, the Department of Jobs and Family Services will no longer accept prevention, retention, and contingency applications. The PRC program offers work support and other services for low-income families in Ohio. The county is directing any PRC assistance need to Miami Valley Community Action Partnership. Any applications before August 1st can still be submitted.
Welcome into the Bob's Discount Furniture Sports Desk. Big day for the Bengals at training camp. Today marking the first time this season they suited up in helmets and pads for practice. Chris Rankel shows us how it all went.
It's so hot out here right now, but I'm not going to complain about it being hot because I'm not wearing pads. The guys were wearing pads today, and they were hitting each other just a little bit, not too much, because you still have to remember this is NFL practices, and they've gone away from the days of the Oklahoma drills and knocking each other's heads off in practice. We did see a few good pops. Mike Hilton got a good one on Chase Brown during 7-on-7s. But today, another day without Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow was out there. The offense was moving. The running game got going for the first time. We actually got to see defenders hitting the running back. So that gives us a better idea of where these running backs are, because they're still looking for an RB1 between Zach Moss, Jake Brown, and a couple other guys now that Joe Mixon has moved on. I'd say the big mover today was wide receiver Charlie Jones, a second-year receiver out of Purdue. He caught 2 touchdown passes with the first team from Joe Borough. A good day overall. They are just wrapping things up here at Paycor Stadium. You see all the people behind me waiting for their autographs. Big step forward. We called everything up till today kind of the ramp-up period, basically a glorified workout. Now the real football begins, guys.
Well, the first 3 episodes of our podcast looking into the disappearance of Nikki McCowan are out now. You can scan the QR code on your screen to download or just search for Missing Nikki McCowan at Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast platform you use. And make sure you subscribe so you always know when a new episode is available.
We'll be out at the Greene County Fair tomorrow for Family Day, which is also Food Pantry Discount Day. That means you can get into the fair for just $4 when you bring a non-perishable food item. So come stop by our booth and see us. We'll be out there from 3 to 7 p.m. The fair brings rides, livestock shows, and family fun through Sunday at the Greene County Fairgrounds in Xenia. Be sure to check the fair schedule on greenecountyfairgrounds.com so you catch your favorite events.
And I'll be out there giving the forecast live, weather permitting, which it does look like it should be okay for most of the day tomorrow. We do have the chance for some thunderstorms. That being said, there will be plenty of dry time as well. So if you're heading out to the Greene County Fair, just keep in mind we do have the chance for some storms, especially later into the evening. High temperatures close to 90 degrees. Thursday, lower 90s, scattered showers, thunderstorms mainly in the evening. And then Friday, I think that's our best shot at rain and storms, more widespread precipitation versus isolated to scattered for our Wednesday and Thursday. It's really all dependent on whether or not we get one of these storm complexes to make its way in. That's why we have a level 1 threat for severe storms tomorrow, a level 2 threat for severe storms on Thursday. Damaging wind gusts would be the main concern on both of those days. So just have a way to get those weather alerts and stay weather aware.
Well, if you follow the yellow brick road, it'll lead you to a dinner and a show. Coming up, a sneak peek at Wizard of Oz at La Comedia.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Here's what I know. Nobody thinks about their
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
You can follow the Yellow Brick Road out to La Comedia Dinner Theater to see the classic musical, The Wizard of Oz. And while there's no place like home, there's also nothing like their famous sweet potato casserole. Tage Joshi paid them a visit this morning to get a behind-the-scenes look at the show.
If you love theater, then I have good news right now. I'm at the La Comedia Dinner Theater in Springboro, a great place to see a show and have a great meal right here in the Miami Valley. They do shows here all the time, and right now the team here is putting on a production of The Wizard of Oz. Take a look on stage, because today we actually have a behind-the-scenes look with some of the cast of this show, and we are getting to see just a little bit of the fun parts of what this show is all about. This, of course, show features your favorite characters like Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Lion. In fact, we see our friend the Scarecrow up in a bubble right now, and that's because this show is all about high-flying activities. It's all about a lot of harnesses, a lot of flying. All sorts of characters are going all over the place, even some over the audience here. And if you want to see this show, what you need to know is it's been running for 5 weeks right now at the La Comedia Dinner Theater, and there's still 2 weeks left to see this show right here at the theater. I should mention real quick that this place is a beautiful classic dinner theater vibed place with that look, the candles, the tables that make you think you're in one of those old school dinner theaters. Plus, they do good food and drink here that are often on theme with whatever show they are doing. My friends, now, of course, you can support local theater by coming to the show, going online for tickets. But for now, let's send it back to the studio.
It's a great way to cool off, too, when it's this hot outside. Hot and humid weather. Now, tomorrow, I do think we'll see feels like temperatures close to 80s. It all depends on when we get some of the shower and thunderstorm activity to fire up. That being said, our Thursday right now looking like the hottest day of this week. Here's a look at potential feels like temperatures close to 100 degrees, if not even higher, especially for our southern counties for our Thursday afternoon. So it's going to get hot, but eventually a cold front will swing through. It's not going to do much with her temperatures, but we will get some relief. Upper 80s on Sunday. That's when we have some quieter weather in play. And then a chance for a few showers back in the forecast on Monday. Upper 80s yet again for our Tuesday. So overall, on and off rain and thunderstorm chances expected over these next couple of days. And with that, we also do have that severe weather potential. So any storm that pops up, we'll have to monitor for that threat for some damaging wind gusts and very heavy rain like we saw last night.
Yeah, we had a little bit of cleanup in our yard this morning from the winds last night. So.
Yeah, so lots of rain. It was very wet out there, I guess.
Active.
Right.
Dayton 24/7 Now is sponsored by